Camera's rolling. Mic quality's going.
Mic's hot.
I am about to fall as I sit down in this chair.
The mic is hot.
Like physically?
No.
Well, we got new stickers on there.
That's why they're hot.
Shout out, Lauren. Hell yeah. All right. We are rolling.
These are cool.
Yeah, I like it. Adds a little nice touch to it.
Yeah, it does.
Episode 20, dude. 2-0.
So many.
10-10. That's awesome. We're going to be doing it
Cheers
every...
to that.
Yeah, let me get a little cheers. Thank you for the coffee.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. That's probably scorching, huh?
No, it's not.
No?
Mm-mm.
We, Sunday morning. This, the first episode 20 is going to come out tomorrow, Monday. But before we actually have a crap ton of questions. We're not even going to get to all of them, which is going to be fun. I don't know where I put my phone, but I don't necessarily need it yet. But, so before we jump into the Q&A, so me and Carson were at the Post Malone Jelly Roll concert last night. Good time? You have a good time?
Great time.
It was a good time.
Great performer.
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
Well, they're both performers. I think that's what it is. I mean, obviously they have fantastic music.
Just high props to Post. He crushes.
Crush it. Well, he's
He's all over that place.
his actual singing though. I mean, same as Jelly Roll, but like what saves him is his actual dude. He's got pipes.
Yeah.
He's got pipes.
Yeah. Any genre, he'll go out there. He's
Yeah.
wild.
But before I wanted to get in this Q&A, we were chatting about it. And we literally said, let's talk about this on the pod, because dude, like we were running around. Once we got in, we were trying to find food, or just something to have, and.
That coffee line.
I said, which
long.
is so cool though.
Yeah.
They had a little coffee bus there, that was way too packed, so I wasn't even gonna wait. But we were walking around. We did a lap around the entire stadium. It was at Citizens Bank Park. There was one spot called Greens and Grains, but they literally didn't have anything. So I said to Carson after realizing this, I was like, don't you see why it's so hard? I mean, what would I say? You can easily rack up like 3,000 calories, dude.
Yeah, what would your meal be?
I asked him this. So, all right, this is a good little question. I asked him, I was like, all right, what would, if you had to pick one food item, health is unrelated, what would it have been?
I said, and I think I'll stick to it for now because I haven't had it in a while, the hot Italian sausage with peppers and onions on the, like, hoagie roll.
Are you changing it?
No, that's what it was.
Oh, I thought
I just added the peppers and onions.
You were saying it like you were about to change it.
Well, the Chickies and Pete's, chicken fingers, and crab fries do hit different.
So that's
and
what
then you got
mine
me
was.
thinking when my family used to have the Sunday package, so like me, my brother, and my dad would always go, and it was tradition every seventh inning we go get ice cream with Jimmy's.
Oh,
And that
in the
now
helmet?
I'm thinking, yeah,
In the helmet, and you take the helmet home.
You put the cone, you get the cone and the helmet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we did it at Yankee
That
Stadium.
brings yeah. But that brings back memories. So, can I do the Italian sausage pause with the ice cream?
Well, the Italian sausage is your dinner side. You still need a dessert side.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're separate.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going with.
I said, for those that aren't from Philly, I said Chickies and Pete's with a chicken tender chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
They don't usually put it in there, but they would. They
would
would
do it.
for it.
Yeah,
They got
100%.
this cheese sauce that's absolutely unreal. It's definitely not cheese. Sorry, I had to say it.
Yeah, I don't know why you
Had
did.
to say it. Because
But it's fire.
So good, and then they have crab fries. If you ever come to Philly, go to any of the stadiums, or you're just in Philly in general, go to Chickies and Pete's. It's the only time I'll ever recommend it. The crab fries are absolutely insane.
You gotta get the cheese too.
With the cheese dip. I mean, they'll give them to you.
Yeah, immaculate.
But I would recommend paying extra for
And then
more.
how many? And then we can rain on the parade. We try to add up. what it
Yeah,
would
we
be.
were trying to guess the amount of calories. Well, we looked it up. It has it on their menu, but I don't know how accurate it is. But easy over 3,000. The fries alone were 1,500.
Yeah, but a great 1,500. They're so good.
So good. But I my whole point of that was like, dude, I understand why it's so hard. Because, dude, if you're thinking about it, right? If you're trying to lose weight and you need like a weekly calorie deficit. That's what I like to focus on, weekly. And say your weekly calorie deficit, you want it to be, let's say 3,000 calories for the week, right? Bro, you can get rid of that weekly deficit in one meal at that place.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
It's like,
So I understand why it's so hard, dude.
It's like part of the ballpark experience is like
Because you gotta get something.
trying the food or having a few beers or both. So by the time you like get there, it's almost like you can't participate in the experience.
No, right. And dude, I'll tell you, like, I don't mind it because it's also very expensive. So I don't mind not getting something because I'll save a little bit. I mean, we got waters and it was like $15, but that's why the first thing that we did was looked for food.
Yeah.
It's just how
We had time.
It's the vibes of the game.
Yeah, we had time. We were like, screw
Wanna get
it.
a beer? Yeah, you want to get a beer? Like, so I don't know. I just want to bring it up. A great concert, great time, loved it. But yeah, I was a little hungry the whole time.
I know you were.
It's alright.
I had a
matter.
pretzel in the parking lot.
Yeah, so that's the other thing.
So good.
Last thing on that, when I was coming back from the Jersey Beach, we had a little Mano event. Also, shout out the shirt. We'll come back to that. We had a little Mano event, and I came from the beach straight to the concert. Stopped at an Amish farmers market on the way. I got myself a beautiful breakfast, so good. Then they had fresh pretzels. I was watching them make it. It was so cool.
The pretzels were good.
And I got a few other things.
Yeah, the pretzels were good.
Yeah. So hell yeah. All right, you wanna tell them about the shirt real quick?
The shirt?
Yeah.
What's there to tell them? Look at it. It's fucking fire.
We're gonna
I'm jacked.
new colorway. We're gonna give one to someone.
Yeah, the blue's nice. Yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway.
How should we do it? You're the good giveaway guy.
I don't know. What more can we do than like and comment?
Let's do another comment. Oh,
Okay.
no. Rating. We got 8 ratings, 8 5-star ratings right now.
Can you see them?
Yeah,
You can see who did them?
I think so.
Okay.
If not, rate it. Comment that say like done or something,
Tell your friends.
and then we'll give the shirt away.
Yeah,
To
blue.
someone.
It's nice blue. I like this a lot.
Yeah,
Just got this morning.
Hell yeah. All right, let's jump into it.
Yeah.
We
Number
got
1.
questions.
So special episode 20, we're doing listener questions for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna do it every 10th episode. I like that. I think it's gonna be a little fun one. Because we got a bunch of questions that I listed out now, but we have like 10 others that I just put in a separate list because we're not gonna get to them. So we gonna just hammer through these?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with one off the cuff.
Yeah.
I read through the questions this morning, but
Cool.
the one I asked you to put in there was regarding weighted vests.
Yeah.
So people are seeing my evolution and my journey. I'm starting to get into running a little bit.
A little bit.
At first, when this pod started, I hated running, and now I'm coming along. I've debated the weighted vest, and this question was on there. I've honestly only debated it because of the price. They're like expensive online, and the Rogue one is sick. It literally looks like you're in Afghanistan. It looks military.
Yeah.
So I debated buying it, and then like secondary questions, but like I'm more of just a bitch with the price. Adding more than my body weight, is it like more stressful on my joints, or is it so minuscule that it really doesn't matter?
Dude, such a good question. So the second part of this question, this was from Lauren, by the way, so shout out.
She had the weighted vest question?
Yeah.
Oh.
She said at the end it was, could it negatively impact someone? So I want to jump into that because you nailed it. That would be the negative impact, would be the stress on the joints. Well, the way to think about a weighted vest is absolutely. Weighted vest is so good because number one is just going to make whatever you're doing, walking, running, whatever, it's going to make it harder just because you're adding more weight. So that's obvious.
Jelly Roll got rid of that weighted vest.
So this is what I want. This is exactly the way I want you to think about it. You're quite literally adding weight. So think about whatever weight that you're adding. Now, whatever you're doing, you're performing it at that weight. So a lot of people, when they lose weight, as they lose weight, I don't know why I said a lot of people, but one of the things that I would suggest is as you lose weight, add a weighted vest to your original weight. Because number one, it's kind of cool. You'll realize like, oh my gosh, I've been carrying that much extra weight. And like, you carry a 20-pound weighted vest, dude. It's a good amount of weight.
Yeah.
So you kind of have
20 pounds is no joke.
No, dude. So you have a lot of respect for someone who loses 20 pounds. But something to think about. So I would say overall weighted vest, yes, it increases the intensity of the activity. Absolutely works. Highly recommend. I used to go on weighted vest walks all the time. That was like one of my 75 hard go-tos. And it is expensive.
Still
though.
have one laying around?
Yeah, it's in my car. I think. I don't think it's in here. I know. I definitely put it in here somewhere.
Right.
But so that's the negative, right? Is you're adding a lot of weight for a longer period of time, depending on how long. But the joints would be the
So I guess my
negative.
question is like, if I run right now like 165, I'm running. It's tough on my joints already. Like it's not ideal. I'm adding the 20 pounds or 15, whatever it is. It makes it harder on my joints, no question. It's so hard to measure, but is it like so minuscule, or is it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not for a run, dude. I would not recommend running in a weighted vest. No, I would not. If you're gonna use a weighted vest, I would do walking, incline walking, Stairmaster.
Great comment. I did not know that.
Yeah, whatever. So think about it this way: any activity that's like hard hitting on the ground. So running, you're stomping on the ground. That's enough force on its own. And then you put the weighted vest on. Now you're adding 20 pounds to every single step, not just total.
You're
every
risking
single
injury.
step. So I would say if you're running, dude, that's why a lot of people, if they have a lot of weight to lose, like Jelly Roll, he didn't start running. I told you yesterday he like got into running. He's doing 5Ks and stuff. There's no way he started running. He had to start probably like biking or in a pool or just like walking.
Yeah.
So you kind of, especially when you have that much weight to lose, you kind of have to start that way to save your joints. Because our body's just not used to that much weight.
Right.
Our body's not going to be used to that much weighted vest weight either. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend is if you are using a weighted vest, do more of those lower intensity activities like cardio where you can do strength training with it. And then as with anything else, ease your way up into it. But man, your shoulders, your traps are going to burn.
I've never done a weighted vest.
It's a mental test.
Never done it.
Yeah, it's a good
I'm
one.
going to have to borrow it from you one day and just rip a long walk.
And the walks are beautiful for it because you can get, especially if you're relatively fit, you can get into pretty high zone 2 effort level for a walk. For a walk.
Let me get that today and walk tomorrow.
I don't know if I have it. I think it's in. We'll check my other car.
Right.
I don't know if it's in here. But yeah, because I'm not using it right now with my training.
I know I haven't seen you, but I know you used it in the past a lot.
I got to use it Monday actually for we're doing a Memorial Day Murph. Actually, I might not be using it.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, so I would say that's the only negative. But the way to think about it is, just think about, all right, if I added 20 pounds of weight, of body weight, this is what I'll feel like.
Good.
So it's kind of a motivator too.
This is just me not knowing, and there might not be any other answers to this. You saying don't run in it, great advice, and never thought about that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I should not do with it? You mentioned weight train's fine, walking's fine.
Nah, it's
that's
really
what I said.
just
There
a
might
ground
not be
and
any
pound.
other answers.
It's really just that ground and pound on because when you're thinking about it, when you go for a regular run, say you go for a 3-mile run, what is that, like 5,000 steps?
Yeah.
Right. So any additional weight, multiply it by 5,000 because when we run, we're landing on 1 foot. When we walk, we're on 2 feet. That's the difference between walking and running, actually. But when we run, we land on 1 foot. So do that 5,000 times whatever weight you're adding.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight you're adding. So there is a balance, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No, it's fine.
Unless you're doing like...
Look, I'm not trying to set
run.
the world on fire. I don't need my knees giving out.
Yeah.
I can just run on my own and
All
not
right.
being a lunatic.
Let's jump into the next one. You want me to bring the next one up?
Great question when I read that this morning.
We'll keep it going with Lauren. She has one more. That was Lauren.
Yeah, great question, Lauren.
We got one more from her, and I actually really like this one too. How do you get rid of the infamous pooch? How to tone the midsection?
I got nothing for you.
What have you seen? Have you seen anything on the internet?
Ozempic.
All right. I mean, it's hot topic. It's hot topic.
No, I don't know.
Look, first and foremost, there's no ab workout that's going to get you a toned up midsection. It's going to help increase your abdominal size, the size of your ab muscles, but it's not going to cut body fat. There's no exercise that's like, oh, I'm going to cut that subcutaneous. We talked about the last episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut that subcutaneous body fat on your stomach. It doesn't work like that. The way we burn body fat depends on the person. we actually mentioned it last night. Like you can see in Jelly Roll, all of his fat that he lost first was in his face because his face got super skinny, and then it usually goes shoulders. So you see how it kind of like droops down?
Yeah.
Goes shoulders, and then unfortunately the last to go is that subcutaneous belly fat. So what I mean by that is you just have to get to a low body fat percentage because for most people that belly fat is gonna be the last one to lose. You have to just dial in the workouts. Dial in the nutrition.
Where are you starting though?
You gotta be in a calorie deficit. That's what it comes down to, but a healthy one, right? So you gotta eat an adequate amount of protein so that you're maintaining or gaining that muscle. When you have a higher muscle mass, you burn more calories at rest. Your basal metabolic rate, you're burning more calories. So, with that being said, if you have more muscle mass, you're eating enough protein and you're maintaining that, you're gonna burn more calories throughout the day. So that way, it's gonna make it a lot easier to be in a calorie deficit.
Let me ask you a question. So, well, we can use me as an example. So I'm 5'8", 5'9".
I'm 8, so you're 9.
5'9". All right, well, give me 5'9" and a quarter.
I was being nice.
5'9", once.
Whoa, where was the quarter come from?
Hey, throw me in there. 5'9", 165. Say I was like 180, and not like a nice 180. Like I had some chunk on me, right? Because I think this is where this question stems from. Calorie deficit, yes. Would you recommend like a hybrid type training where I was doing resistance and cardio? Would you say, hey, for these next, if this is where you want to be, I know you're not all or nothing, you want to create habits, but hey, if that's where you want to be, let's go for the next 3 months. Let's tip the scales more on the cardio, tip the scales more on the weight training, and just making sure we're at a deficit. Where would you want my training to be in order to get me to where I want to be, and then we can reassess once we get there?
In regards to toning and losing that pooch, yeah, I would go hybrid. I would go a good combination of both, and depending on how many workouts you do a day or a week, say you're doing 5 workouts a week, or we'll keep you as an example. You said 6 last time, right?
Yeah, so you would do the training that you set out for
that
me?
I set you. So
that was
it's
sick.
Hybrid training of if you're doing 6 workouts per week, 3 cardio, 3 strength, and just alternate them each day.
And I've been doing that.
And a couple reasons for that. One, strength, you're alternating, so you give a full rest day. So important for building and maintaining muscle. You'll get the cardio in. But then if we're looking at a weekly standpoint, you get the perfect combination of building lean muscle, burning cardio, because you don't want to think about that cardio session as that one day, right? You're adding to your weekly deficit. Always think about, when you're thinking about your calorie intake, don't go day to day. You're going to drive yourself insane. Go weekly. So now you're thinking about your weekly deficit. Those 3 cardio sessions are going to add to that weekly deficit. Those 3 strength sessions are going to add to it because you're building lean muscle. You're increasing your basal metabolic rate in the long term. And then on top, that's what you should do for a fitness standpoint. And then you can't outwork an unhealthy diet. You just can't. It's so hard. The times when I'm really toning out, the only thing I change is my nutrition. That's the only thing I change.
Yeah.
So, but here's what I want to add too for everyone listening, because especially with summer come around, this is near and dear, but it's so hard for everyone because we all have some sort of a body image issue. We're all looking at ourselves in the mirror. We all have this problem. But if you can somehow create a healthy relationship with that and get to a point where you're happy. The reason I say this is because, dude, when I was at my leanest, I felt the worst. I felt so bad. Now I'm at a point where I'm at a really good weight. I got a little pudge on me, and I feel the best I've ever felt.
Yeah, but who cares?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you will actually be healthier if you don't care.
The mental aspect is so hard.
Right? So my blood
it's
work
so
now,
much easier to say that.
Dude, my blood work now is so much healthier than it was when I was ripped.
Right, and that justifies that in your head for you to be comfortable with it, but it's so hard for people
need that
out there.
justification.
Yeah, it's so hard.
And even with the justification, dude, I'm like, oh shit, summer's coming. Maybe I should tone up a little bit. But dude, that would for me, for training, that would impact my performance, no doubt.
Yeah.
So definitely something to think about. If you can get to that point, that would actually be one of my biggest recommendations for the pooch is like, yes, you can obviously get it down to a comfortable spot, but don't try to get it down to where it's absolutely nothing. And you have ripped abs.
This
don't.
is you bringing in the aspect of the mental too. This is another social media gone wild thing where you
100%.
see these girls and guys just shredded up nonstop, and they make it seem like that's where you need to be. And
That's why
it's not.
That's why everyone cares so much about getting abs, dude. Before, when our parents grew up, abs were not a thing, but they were all so much healthier than us. So yeah, I mean, Lauren, to answer your question, go ahead.
I want to comment on the split, the 3-3 split.
Yeah.
I hate in the moment, but love seeing it in there, and I like look forward to it. The track workout
Yeah, a little
or
change up.
the interval sprints. So just to lay it out, you would recommend that if you're doing the cardio 3-day, or not for everyone?
Not for everyone. Depends. I just know you're getting a little bit more into running, but you
I
also
love
said you have an athletic background. So here's what I'll say: like, is it good? Absolutely. We want to get all the variations.
So he did a 3.
Yeah, I'll walk through because I
Yeah.
also want to touch on if you're not doing 6, if you're doing like an odd number, because which one to like kind of lean in towards.
Oh, I get you.
For Carson, what we did was 3 strength sessions. Did I just do A, B, and C, or did you do? Oh no, you have your own
Upper
split.
upper A, upper B.
Upper A, upper B, and lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 3 cardio sessions. One was a easy, just run. One was an interval on the track.
2
and
miles.
And then one was a long run.
Yeah.
So the reason I set up his cardio that way is because we're just touching in every single heart rate zone that we touched on the last episode. We're touching on your low zone 2. That's like your recovery / like you can have a conversation during those. Your intervals where you're gonna get a really high zone 4, zone 5, hopefully heart rate. But then you're also working different types of muscle fibers, and then your long run. That's just that. I mean, honestly, that's a mental cardio.
That's
session,
fine.
which is so important.
And we've talked about it. It's getting got today.
Yeah, it's so important. So
Not looking forward to it too much,
Yeah.
but kind of.
I got one with you, so we're in it together.
Yeah. It's kind of
Um,
nice out. I'm thinking tarp off.
Tarp off.
Just
Soak up the sun,
Let-
vitamin D.
let them babies breathe.
Yeah. So that's what I would say if you're really trying to focus on. But if you're just kind of trying to just get cardio in, get strength in,
Do
and
whatever.
say you're doing like 3 or 5 days a week, an odd number, I would just hone in on which one you either prefer more or what's your main goal. If you want to build muscle, I would then lean in a little bit, do 3 days a week of strength, 2 days a week of cardio, or you can go 2 and 2 and then like that, or 1 and 1, that odd number. Just do like half warm up with cardio, like a 20-minute cardio session, right into like a half strength session. You get a little combo of both, and you're getting money.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, love it.
Cool.
That's awesome. Great question.
yeah,
Was
Lauren.
that Lauren again?
Yeah,
Oof.
Lauren, keep it up with the workouts. You're crushing it.
Yeah,
You
she's doing great.
She's
doing great.
She's a
She's stepping.
stepping. So I would say nutrition, and then third, what I would look into if you really want to get deep into it would be some of the extra stuff like micronutrients, hormones. I'm not even gonna jump into it, but just want to give it a little honorable mention.
Lay off the Chick-fil-A.
Question: it's right across the street.
I know.
Not open today. Sunday.
Mm.
So I got no one to watch on my bike. Question number 3 is coming from Landon Don, the boy. What would you suggest to someone who struggles with consistency in the gym? For example, a constant cycle of going hard for a couple weeks and then falling off.
What a great question. Great question. This was me.
I think he called you out on this one.
No, I mean,
He should have said, Carson.
this is Carson. This is Carson's struggle, and then just pose it as a question.
So here what I'm going to do. You're talking to Landon. And you're talking to whoever else is struggling. Help them out, Carson. What can they do? Carson.
Dude, I don't know.
They're going back and forth. They're going back and forth, and they can't get in a routine. We're on episode 20 of the pod. We've gone through so many different tactics and strategies around this. What would you say to Landon and all of them out there? Speak to them.
Dude, I don't know.
You do, because you're on right now. You're in the state where you're in a good spot.
Great spot.
How did you get out of your inconsistent routine now that you're in a consistent routine? What did you do? Or did you just do?
Bro, I'm not saying I don't know, as like I genuinely don't know.
All right. So
I think I think there's definitely a huge mental to it. I'm not gonna lie, those lunch workouts make it so easy
Mm-hmm.
to get it in. But I was getting them in before there, but
It's
Dude,
harder.
yeah, dude, I don't know.
So I have a couple of
Life
things on
gets
this.
busy.
So hard. I have a couple of things on this. I would say, first and foremost...
This is a great question.
Great question. First and foremost, from that mental aspect of it, there's a couple things mentally. Can't get caught up about it. If you get so wrapped up in your head that you miss a workout or something, that's why one day turns into two and two turns into three. Because you get so hard on yourself and then it's so much easier to give up. So if you miss a workout, who gives a shit? Get it the next day. Move on. It's all right. No problem. So that's one thing from the mental side of it. But what I would also say, dude, is getting back into it. Don't go all. I'm a record player here, broken record. That's what they call it. Don't. Dude, it's so important not to just go balls in when you come back. You have to ease yourself into it again, but not into just a workout, but into that routine again.
That's what it is. It's creating a routine, whereas
I had to slow you down a lot, by the way, which is good. Because you're like me, you have that itch and you want to go and you're hardworking, but I had to pull you back so you didn't burn out.
For what? Running?
For when you were getting back into running, the weights again.
I know.
But then, other than that, dude, I would say you have to find, the key is finding that balance of like, okay, what do I need to do for my general health, but what do I want to do? Right, so we kind of just went through that equal split of strength and cardio. Look, at the end of the day, if you're just someone who doesn't like to do cardio and you are inconsistent with your workout plan because of the cardio is making you not want to do it, here's my recommendation, okay? Well, I'd rather you just get rid of cardio and not the entire routine. So hone in on strength, maybe add a couple of strength days, and then just focus on like general movement. If you're doing the vice versa and you just enjoy cardio more, then what I'll do is just focus on cardio and then just try getting some body weight calisthenic stuff in. But the whole point of that is because what's going to happen is as you get more into that routine, as we do things that make us feel good and whether it's cardio or strength, it's going to make you feel good, you're going to start wanting to add in a little bit more. Like, oh, maybe I can start adding this in. And then maybe that goes into one 30-minute session a week. And then it goes into maybe 1 60-minute, and then it turns into 2 30s. And then, so kind of just letting it stack from there. The micro habits that we always talk about, I think that would be my biggest recommendation.
Yeah. As you've been talking, I've been trying to put my finger on, like, how I've been consistent lately. And, bro, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't have an answer. I should have thought this one
Figuring it out. So the last point I want to make on this is you have to, when it comes to your workouts and your nutrition, you have to treat it like work in a way or like a meeting. You have to put in your schedule where it's a non-negotiable. Look, yes, and stuff's going to come up and you got to change around. That's fine. You got to alter, but you got to put your workouts in your schedule, block it out and prioritize it like a work meeting. Because if you're just going to try to fit it in throughout the day, well, it's not going to happen in the morning. Because it's like, even when I have a scheduled workout in the morning, it's so easy not to do it.
Yeah.
You're contemplating the entire time. So you won't do it in the morning. Then you go through your entire workday. Then you're tired at the end of the day. You're not going to want to do it at the end of the day. That's why the midday workouts for you have worked. Because it's not at the end of the day. It's not in the morning.
Yeah, because who wants to drive to Edge at the end of the day? Like, I just don't want to do it.
So you fitting it in your lunch hour is...
having it at work, having a gym at work, game changer. Because I just walk down the hall and will lift after work. Giving my mind the opportunity to, like, do we really want to drive to Edge today? Go lift, then drive home.
Dude, how did that turn off? Keep going.
Do I really want to drive to Edge today, get a lift in, then drive home? By the time I'm home, it's 8:30 at night.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do it.
I'll do that for next
And
episode.
I give my brain the out.
Yeah.
But when it's right down the office, hey, just go lift for 45 minutes.
Right.
Because, like I said to you before, my lifting, I should probably go harder, but I don't lift for any longer than 45 minutes because now that I'm doing cardio on the side, I don't have to warm up with cardio.
Right.
So I'm literally just, like, my priority, this has been a big switch up for me mentally, What's your priority today? My priority is strength. All right, then you don't need to do cardio. I always thought like do cardio to warm up and then do strength. I just go in, I'll stretch, I'll hit strength, and then that's it. I don't need to do my cardio warm up to do anything because we're doing this step challenge. I'm getting in my cardio.
Right.
I don't need to go ahead and pound cardio. So hit the quick focus 35 to 45 minute lift. Hit it hard, be focused in there, be efficient, and then just get out.
Last thing on that made me think about it is separate your workouts and like your daily movement. Like moving, like for example, we were standing at the concert all day. I knew that I was supposed to do a longer run, but I cut it back because I knew we were gonna be on our feet all day. Like that counts, dude.
Yeah.
You're on your feet all day. Quick timeout, then we'll come right back. We gotta fix the camera. All right, we're back. Sorry, camera went out. I don't know why. It's fully charged. I charged it last night. It's literally in the charger. We're gonna move on.
That's all right. We're good.
Landon, hopefully that helped, dude.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's a great question.
it's such a good question, and there's no right answer. I would just say keep at it. Yo, my favorite quote. It ain't that deep.
True.
You're gonna say keep the end in mind. That too.
Well, I mean,
It is my favorite quote.
it's in my face.
All right, let's go one more question,
This
and
from-
then
I got it.
yeah, we got one more question, and then we got a good segue question.
All right, this is from
You pick.
Joey.
Joey Tunes.
Joey.
Tunes.
Joe.
Yo, great coffee by the way.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm saying. When you get coffee, black from a good coffee shop, you can like taste how they use good beans.
All right, Joey. Texted me this yesterday. I've always heard that high cholesterol is bad, which we kind of spoke about high cholesterol last time. But then foods like eggs are supposed to be healthy, even though they have a lot of cholesterol. Should we be worried about eating high cholesterol foods or not?
I'm going to try to answer this. I don't want to say in the quickest, but in the best way without going too deep into cholesterol. We did touch on it a little bit. What I would say is the quality of your dietary fats. When we're talking about cholesterol, we're talking about dietary fats. The quality of your dietary fats in your diet is one of the most important things you can change. Because so many things go into that. One, yes, cholesterol. Inflammation is a big one. I think we touched on omega-3s and omega-6s. But no, so the reason that there's a stigma around cholesterol, dude, because cholesterol is very similar. You actually compared the two. You asked, you're like, is cholesterol like sodium in terms of like how we look at it? Yeah. So like what we want to think about when it comes to cholesterol is two things. One, take your cholesterol readings with a grain of salt. All right, because that's what we were saying, how that's blood cholesterol, body cholesterol is different. Two, quality is absolutely king in dietary fats. But the reason that there's a stigma around this is because a lot of the studies around cholesterol, especially back then, one, nutrition studies are so hard to do, dude. Like, you have to manipulate one variable, so whatever that you're studying, so cholesterol in this case, and then you have to try to keep everything else about what that subject, that person is doing, the same. You can't, in a nutrition study, unless you're locking them in a hotel room or something, you can't have them eat the exact same thing every single day and then do that for 10, 20, 30 subjects. It's so hard, dude. So that's why even like studies that tell you like the artificial sweeteners or this ingredient does this or that ingredient does that, like you got to be careful with how literally you're taking them because it's so hard to do. But the stigma around cholesterol is all the studies that were showing the cholesterol from red meats, from eggs, one, they were using bad quality dietary fats. So they were using processed meats. They were using not good eggs. So that is going to have a way different effect on your cholesterol in your body than a grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef would, than a pasture-raised egg would, than something that you would get from a farm that doesn't go through a factory. So, and then on top of that too, even if a study was using good quality proteins and good quality dietary fats, all right, well, what else is that person eating? Because if you're studying Americans and you can only assume that they're on the average American diet, that's why it's called average, bro, then you're adding ultra-processed foods into that, processed sugars. Like, you see what I'm saying with that? So the stigma is understandable in the sense that, like, the headlines Like they can capture a study that's looking at processed meats and how that impacts cholesterol, for sure, dude, for sure. But I have been eating a lot of eggs, pasture raised eggs, all the time. Upward, I might even have 5 or 6 in a day at one point. I eat red meat all the time. It's my favorite meat to eat, but it's all good quality dietary fat. So what I would say is, if you know something has a lot of dietary fat, right? So a ribeye, like a fatty meat, something like that, or even eggs, and you can't control the quality of it, then that's when I'll be like, all right, maybe I shouldn't have this, or maybe I shouldn't have this much of it, because I know it's a fatty one, and I know it's probably not good quality fats.
Well said.
Bang.
You reminded me of an answer, my opinion, for losing the pouch.
Go.
Can I go?
Please. Well, we'll wrap this up. Dude, the freaking camera. Keep going. I'm going to throw that thing out the window.
No, we need it.
We do need it. But we're not giving them good quality video.
I know.
It's the whole point of Spotify.
But you remind me of something with the pouch. Aside from everything you said, which was obviously great, the thing that I've actually found that was best is, and we mentioned this before, cutting your drinks to just water, like coffee, tea, and that's it. Even if it's like Diet Coke, like aside from soda in general, we all know soda's bad. But even if it's like Diet Coke and like you're like, like it's no calories, I can get away with these. I've noticed when I start drinking like the Diet Coke or like the Diet Green Tea or anything like that, fine. But then, and I see my body, whatever. And then when I cut that out and nothing else changes, even though the calories are the same, I see a dramatic difference in my body. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about like stomach way more toned up, and all I did was drop out Diet Coke. I've done it multiple times because I love DC. Yeah. I'm a DC guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So there would be stretches where it's like, oh, I'm still on the diet, but like let me just incorporate Diet Coke because I love it. And I'll do it, and then once I cut it out, different. And I've done that like 4 or 5 times because I love going back to it. It's so good. But you cut that thing out, you'll see a difference in your body, even though your calories weren't different.
Because you don't track your calories.
No.
Right? So, dude, that's why I'm such a huge advocate for just quality of food.
Yeah, but drinks in there. Let drinks sneak in there.
Focus on drinks.
Yeah,
but this brings into Landon's question
sneaky.
Kind of too. It brings into Landon's question because you know for yourself that if you have a DC, we went down that rabbit hole in one of the episodes. Yeah. It was a couple episodes ago. Yeah. We went down the rabbit hole because it's not the DC. Yeah, it doesn't have calories, so it's not going to affect the pudge.
No.
But it's going to affect
it does affect
the habits
pudge
outside of it.
Yeah, what I told everyone. You see me with the DC, he's slipping.
Yeah.
He's slipping.
I know. I'm taking it out of your hand like it's a beer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I thought that was all right. Well, let's go. This last question is actually going to segue into episode 21.
You have it.
Yeah, which I'm very, very excited about. So Joe, hopefully that answered your question, dude. I'm pointing at the camera even though it's just off.
Joey.
Yeah.
Big cheesesteak guy.
Oh, do you know his favorite spot?
Everywhere.
Probably delis, I feel like.
No. Inside joke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But no, say it. It'll make him mad.
Say what?
Big cheesesteak guy. Cheesesteak Joey.
Cheesesteak guy.
Cheesesteak Joey.
I don't know what the inside joke is, but I know Joey was a big cheesesteak guy way back when.
Oh yeah.
Big Joe when Big Joe was Big Joe.
Oh yeah.
So
what's in the gut health on Guinness? Big Guinness guy.
The same as any alcohol, unfortunately. So question that's going to segue us right into episode 21. There's a lot of talk about probiotics and gut health lately. I'm wondering when it comes to probiotic-rich foods like coconut colt, yogurt, kimchi, or sauerkraut, is one healthier or more effective than the others? Great question. What we're going to do is we're going to go into a gut health episode, and I'm very excited. I told you before we started, so I was like, dude, I'm very excited about the gut health.
Yeah, you are. Fired up. We actually pushed the episode so we could think it out more.
We did. We're going to do it on Wednesday. We're going to do it on Thursday. We're like, Sunday.
Yeah.
Last thing, shirt giveaway. Comment. Give us a review.
I'm flexing in the camera.
There's no. Damn it. Give us a review on Spotify, please. That would be awesome. And then if you give us a review, come back to this episode, comment. We'll give you a free shirt. We appreciate any support. Carson, any closings?
Have a week.
Presented by ManoWellness.co. Have a week.